Good morning, Rebecca McLaughlin here. I come to you this morning from my grandmother's lake. I'm out visiting family this weekend and I forgot to film a video earlier in the week, so I'm doing it now. The morning I had to post it. What could possibly go wrong? I'm sure it's great. What I want to talk about this week is something that's happening right now with my book, Nameless Queen, which by the way comes out January 2020. Very soon, 2 months away. Oh, excitement. So what's happening is this week they're recording the audiobook because it comes out the same day as the hardcover, which is awesome. I recently bought a book, Tarnished Are the Stars by Rosie Thor. Amazing. Beautiful cover, beautiful book. And then I listened to it on audiobook. I got the audiobook like 2 days later and then listened to that through the library. Because I just have commute time in the morning and afternoons, and I like to, that's a lot of times when I like to listen to books. So I wanted to both support Rosie, who's awesome, and I wanted to listen to the beautiful audiobook, which was done by someone with a British accent, which was amazing and gorgeous. So I want to talk super briefly about audiobooks and what input or involvement I have as the author. So the decision to do an audiobook was not mine. I sold those roads to Penguin Random House when we sold the hardcover book, which is pretty normal, and they decided when to do it, and they wanted to do it with the launch of the book, with the publication of it. There's a leaf in the foreground. I will move that. Oh no! And I thought they would have done it a lot sooner. Like, I didn't realize 2 months before a book goes out is when they would potentially be filming, sorry, not filming, recording the audiobook, but here we are. The director, Scott Cresswell, reached out to me about it to ask for my input as to which voice actor we went with. So they gave me a couple choices of who they were looking at and just asked if one of the voices resonated with me, if I had a preference. And to be honest, I was really torn. And I listened to their samples of like other books they'd read a lot to see, because I had one instinct and then I had another instinct and then I asked other people for their instincts and I was just like, I don't have instincts. But I did make a suggestion, which we did go with. The audiobook will be read by Emma Galvin, and it comes out obviously January 7th, 2020, the same date as the hardcover book, which is pretty cool. And then I had a call with the audiobook director earlier this week. Basically, he called and said, hey, I have a bunch of words that are in your book that I need you to tell me how to pronounce for the audiobook. And I'm like, great, easy. And the thing about my book, Nameless Queen, is that a lot of the characters' names are self-chosen because they don't have names. So you get things like coin, hat, devil, marcher, gear. So I figured, there's probably not going to be a lot of questions on how to pronounce things because a lot of them are just nouns. Incorrect. I was incorrect. Of course, there are other people's names that, last names and first names that we need a pronunciation on, but then also things like the name of the city, Cerridon. There's a bunch of swear words in the story that are unique to that world, like Geysa and Spetsing, and I had to tell them how to pronounce those. So an audiobook fun fact is that the reason there are swear words, made-up swear words in my book is because after I had written it, my nephew, who was 12 at the time, wanted to read it. And I was like, do I want to be the person responsible for introducing him to all these words? No, I don't. So I went in, said, give me 5 minutes. I found and replaced all the swear words in the book, and then I handed it over. And then they just sort of stuck. Funny that, eh? Another audiobook fun fact is that they asked me how to pronounce a word that by design I never wanted to pronounce. Like, there's a word that starts with KV, and the K is silent, and it was just a joke that I put in the book. I thought it would be funny, like, oh, this stupid unpronounceable word with a silent letter, ha 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 ha. And then they were like, yeah, how do you pronounce that? And I'm like, oh, of course, this word that I wrote that I never wanted to pronounce is in a book that will be read out loud and therefore must be pronounced. It was really funny and fun and weird. The last thing that I did was I had to record my own name and send it to them as an audio memo. And the reason for this is so that when they get to the end of the book and say, you know, Nameless Queen was read by Emma Galvin and written by Rebecca McLaughlin, they say my name correctly. You'd think it'd be super easy. It only took me like 8 takes. And I only phoned a family member one time because I'm Irish and my last name is McLaughlin, but my family, or at least my part of my family, pronounces it McLaughlin with a soft sound. And I didn't want to offend all of the Irish, but ultimately, as you know, as explored in the book, names have significance because of our culture or because of our families or because of ourselves, and they are as complex and ever-growing as we are, and that is fine. So, McLaughlin, Rebecca McLaughlin. And the weird thing is that they were thinking that the audiobook recording would only take 3 days. Like, it might be done by now. I was like, oh yeah, 2 months close to the date, that's kind of cutting it close. But to be fair, reading a book does not take as long as writing the book. So it can take me like 4 years to get it written and published or whatever. 5 years if we're being completely honest. But reading it obviously doesn't take that much time. And that's good, because one person writes and a bunch of people reads, and that's how writing books works. And I just hope that there are people out there who love it as much as I do. That's it for me. The sun is starting to come up. Thank you for enjoying it with me. And thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. Here's a video YouTube thinks you'll like, and here's my most recent upload. I will see you next time. Bye! About the audiobook, there is a lamp that is upside down on that porch, and I don't know why.